What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Now, there's always something exciting going on in professional wrestling, and as always, we've got you covered. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know, including Bret Hart being diagnosed with skin cancer, who was involved in booking the Royal Rumbles, is the Undertaker booked for WrestleMania 36, are fans getting tired of Becky Lynch, Rey Mysterio names his likely successor, Drew McIntyre teases a big return, and the reason behind the recent firings. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. But let's waste no further time and get straight into the first bit of news, as Bret Hart has been diagnosed with skin cancer. Now, wrestlers face a lot of problems with health after many years on the road with broken bones and other health-related problems, but sadly for the Hitman, he faces a different health-related problem. The former WWE champion informed his followers on social media that he has basal cell carcinoma, the most common form of skin cancer. Hart wrote on his Instagram, "Goal for 2020 and beyond, wear more sunscreen. Basal cell carcinoma removal scheduled soon. Another opportunity to remind everyone to look after your health and get checked." But the good news is that early detection of the cancer is the best way to tackle it, and treatment in most cases are curable according to skincancer.org. Now, this isn't the first time that Bret has had to combat a type of cancer, as in February 2016, Hart revealed he had been diagnosed with prostate cancer. However, after a few months, Jim Ross confirmed on Facebook that he had beaten the cancer following successful surgery. Hart even confirmed this himself. "I said it once and I'll say it again. Fuck cancer." Here's hoping that the excellence of execution puts that form of cancer into the sharpshooter and he makes a full recovery. Next up, who was involved in booking the Royal Rumbles? The Men's Royal Rumble was one of the best Rumbles seen in many years, probably in the last 10 years or so, or at least since Chris Benoit won it. Drew McIntyre emerged victorious, surviving 14 other superstars to win the opportunity to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 36 for the WWE Championship. The Women's Rumble, well, that was a mixed bag. There were some good moments, but frankly, we weren't happy with the winner. It's time for Charlotte Flair to move on out of the spotlight. Give somebody else a chance. But who ultimately had input in these Rumbles? Well, it's been revealed by Dave I Have the Best Sources in the World Meltzer, who confirmed interestingly that it was Shane McMahon as the main producer, together with Christopher Parks, aka Abyss, Jamie Noble and Lance Storm. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman also had a lot of input with their own booking, and Vince was heavily involved with the finish and decided it should be Drew McIntyre who eliminated Roman Reigns. Nice work. Regarding the Women's Rumble, this was put together by Adam Pearce, Tyson Kidd, Mickie James, and Michael P.S. Hayes. Triple H also had some input on the day. Like we said before, it wasn't one of the worst Rumbles at all, we just didn't like the decision of the winner. Next up is the Undertaker booked for WrestleMania 36. Now, the dead man hasn't been seen in the WWE since he tagged with Roman Reigns and defeated Drew McIntyre and Shane McMahon at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view last year. Over the past 2 years, Taker has kept to a much lighter wrestling schedule, but could we see him return at the Showcase of the Immortals? As of right now, no. WWE has not booked The Undertaker to have any match, but it is believed that they may have him involved in some capacity and are currently in negotiations. Now, if Taker doesn't make an appearance, this will be the second WrestleMania in a row he's missed. Are you guys glad that Taker isn't booked? If he was to have a match, who should it be against? Aleister Black? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, are fans getting tired of Becky Lynch? You know how wrestling works every year. You pick a superstar you want to push, they eventually get the push you've asked for, and then a few months down the line, you're probably sick of them. See Roman Reigns, John Cena, or Seth Rollins for more details. Well, the next wrestler for fans to grow tired of could be the man Becky Lynch, who has now surpassed Ronda Rousey as the longest Raw Women's Champion with 296 plus days. She's beaten the likes of Asuka, Lacey Evans and Sasha Banks to retain the title, and whilst Corey Graves mentioned he himself is not sick of Lynch, he believes the fans may be. On his podcast After the Bell, he mentioned, "It is my concern that the WWE Universe is beginning to tire of the man. This is historically a common occurrence in WWE. When someone reaches megastar status, as Becky has over the last year plus, people tire of them. Look no further than John Cena, Roman Reigns, more recently Ronda Rousey, who was beloved when she arrived in WWE, but by the time WrestleMania came around, even before that, WWE was tired of her. Seth Rollins, last year no one could wait for him to beat Brock Lesnar. He beats Brock Lesnar, becomes the guy, and everyone goes, what else you got? This isn't Becky's fault. It isn't anyone's fault. It's an occurrence. It's a cyclical business. And maybe it's time for an evolution, another step, another layer to the man. If anyone can give it to us, I'm sure it's Becky Lynch. But as of the past weekend, Becky Lynch is no longer the underdog. Before she became the man, everything that propelled Becky to superstardom is that she wasn't getting her just due. She had passion, heart and talent, but was never taking that next step. She created her own path. There's no denying she's still a megastar. I'm just wondering if we're beginning to see the rumblings of a bigger movement. In our opinion, we do agree with Graves. It is a regular cycle. Wrestling fans don't want to see the same wrestlers on top for too long, as they'll eventually bore them, and it certainly didn't help Becky Lynch when they tied her to Seth Rollins. To be honest, she comes off as really smug. She really believes her own hype. She really thinks that she's the greatest thing to happen to the women's division since sliced bread. Now, confidence is great in any wrestler, they should have confidence, but ego is something else. She needs to drop the title and come back around SummerSlam. From there on, she shouldn't be put back into the title scene straight away, but she should gradually move up to it. Are you guys getting sick of Becky Lynch? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Rey Mysterio names his likely successor. There's no question Rey Mysterio has had a fantastic career in the squared circle, but there's also no question the Master of the 619's career is winding down. During a talk with BT Sport, Rey discussed who he sees as being the next Rey Mysterio, none other than the future of Flight Ricochet. He was actually one of the first superstars that really impressed me. Again, when you're in this world and you come home, the last thing you want to do is watch wrestling or hear about other wrestlers. There comes a point where you gotta make sure you see your competition, who is up and coming. He was one of the guys that really stood out to me, and he's been doing incredible, man. I personally feel he is the next Rey Mysterio. Ricochet's high-flying skills and incredible charisma make him a future WWE superstar in the vein of Mysterio. The only thing missing right now is a push to go with it. But of course, all in good time. Next up, Drew McIntyre teases a big return for an injured superstar. The winner of the 2020 Royal Rumble recently appeared on WWE's The Bump and elaborated on his first run in WWE with 3MB, stating that it was his lowest point and he didn't put much effort into it. He also mentioned that he was surprised how far both teammates Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal went in the WWE. He also noted that fans will see a whole new Jinder when he returns from injury. Jinder didn't necessarily start off on the best foot outside of the company, so he wasn't sure what he wanted to do. He wasn't training and wasn't motivated on what he wanted to do. One day it all changed and he became the most driven person I've ever known in my entire life. You're going to see a whole new Jinder soon. We'll probably see that Jinder in the next coming weeks, as reports are indicating that he's now medically cleared to wrestle. And our final story today, the reason behind the recent firings. Just this morning we reported that longtime executives George Barrios and Michelle Wilson have been forced out of their roles as co-presidents from the company's board of directors, and consequently their departures have caused a significant drop in WWE stock. WWE stock opened today at $45.41, the lowest it's been in 18 months. But why the firings? Well, Dave Meltzer believes that Barrios and Wilson are being used as scapegoats in this situation, as the fourth quarter financials for 2019 are significantly lower than expected, thus Vince doing damage control. However, two huge firings just don't seem right. Let's put it in perspective as to just how important the co-presidents would have been. Now, if Vince McMahon wasn't able to carry on with his duties in WWE for whatever reason, Barrios and Wilson would have taken on the corporate responsibilities, so there must be more to it. Now, there have been a number of theories such as Vince pushing for a WWE sale to a larger corporation like Disney or Fox, which Vince was actually against, the unexpected success of All Elite Wrestling, WWE Network figures stagnating, or Fox being unimpressed with SmackDown's figures, but actually it's ultimately come down to difference in vision for the company between McMahon and the co-presidents. According to PWInsider.com, they've been told that an internal announcement released by the company to its employees was even more direct, alluding to irreconcilable differences in the company's strategic priorities. Barrios and Wilson had one vision and Vince McMahon had another. Vince's vision will always win. He's Vince McMahon. The end. But what's the atmosphere like at Titan Tower today? Well, Wrestling Insider WrestleVotes enlightened us as he tweeted, "Just spoke to someone inside Titan Tower. Vibe is said to be uncomfortable today. More questions than answers. As the busiest time of year approaches, people are scratching their head. And oh, the XFL launches next week." Now, working for Vince McMahon must be one of the hardest jobs in the industry, as we're not sure how getting SmackDown on one of the biggest television stations in the US goes against his vision amongst other things. But there you have it guys, the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.